Landmines and jellyfish, welcome back to Knives, I guess, and you have no one to blame but yourself for this. But do me a favor and hit that like button, or neighborhood children will put watermelons in your car. And for the last week, we've been carrying the Worksharp RMX. So, I have opinions, but let's take a look at what we're holding, because it'll bother you if I don't, and you know I love you. So, first things first, and most importantly, the pocket clip is tip up, which is the Lord's carry. It is reversible. We have got this magnesium integral frame. We got a button. Let's hit the button. And it's currently in out-the-side automatic mode. Now, if you hadn't seen the last video I did on this, and I'll reiterate, I am a sucker for a good gimmick, and this is one of the best gimmicks I've seen in a long time. I love this thing. So this thing converts from a button lock, a manual button lock, to an out-the-side automatic. If you want to see me swap this from button lock to automatic, go check out the last video I did on this thing so you can see how easy the process is. It took like 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes to do it. But this thing is very, very, very cool. And I am so glad I got in the door early and got this thing, because I'm actually a bit of a Worksharp fan. I have got the Precision Adjust Elite and I've got the Precision Adjust Professional, which you guys kindly provided that Professional through your Super Chat donations and channel memberships, so thank you for that. I will always be grateful for that kind of support. But I love Worksharp products, and I've got the Kin Onion belt grinder too. I've had the first generation since they were a new thing. I like my Worksharp, so when they came out with a knife, I got real excited, and then I saw them fly Ben Peterson out, they flew Big Daddy Alex out, they flew Neebs out, and looking at that, it was also just really cool to see the videos and the hype build up for this. And when I was at Blade Show, of course, this is my 3rd or 4th stop there. I got in there early and got one. I'm glad I did, because they sold out and they're currently restocking these things periodically. And apparently, because they are being really, really meticulous about the quality on these things at the Worksharp facility, they're coming out, they're trickling out kind of slowly. So definitely, if you want one of these, just keep checking Worksharp's page until some of them pop up. They are restocking them. But, you know, now that all that's out of the way, let's get into the dirty on this thing, now that I've had some time to carry this thing and kind of see what I like and I don't like. So, one of the first things that I do like is the pocket clip. The pocket clip is about a medium. You got like about a 7 out of a 10 pull on this thing. And the dingus end is raised up on it right here enough that it gets over the hem of a pocket easily enough, and it sits really flat. The pocket clip was a very nice experience. The light weight on this thing, like I handed it to some guys at work that were knife guys and non-knife guys, and both of them appreciated it, which doesn't happen that often. You know, you guys that have been around for a minute kind of know, if you have a really high quality knife that's a really, really cool piece with some good materials on it, you show a non-knife guy, they're not impressed. But you show them a $13 gas station knife and they're blown away. It's painful, you know, and it's not that often when something, in my experience, impresses both crowds. You know, everybody really liked the lightweight on this thing. When they found out it was magnesium, they're like, wait a second, magnesium, what? And if you want to see something interesting, Outdoors 55 did something where he tried to see whether or not the magnesium would catch on fire. Go check that video out. It's really cool. It was a great watch. Very, very fascinating stuff. But, you know, overall, I enjoyed it. This thing slices like a bucket of hot damn. It cut really well. Now, the plastic wrap on the pallets, as you can see, we have got a pretty high polish on the bevel. You can still see some grind marks on this thing where, the belt finish wasn't all the way done, but it's a very, very fine edge, very fine polished edge. And it did hang up on the plastic wrap on the pallet just a little bit. It's not quite toothy enough to just glide through that, but that's okay because I fed it some cardboard and it was real happy. You might be able to see here the stripes where I did indeed feed it cardboard. But, you know, it came out of the box quite sharp. It was, I think, in the 130s on the electronic tester. And even with a little bit of use and a little bit of cutting, it's still cutting really, really nice. Now, there are a couple of small nits that I would like to pick with this thing, and some changes I would like to see in future generations of the RMX, because I'm pretty sure they're going to be updating this at some point. The biggest one, and the biggest one by a lot, is you can see right here where you've got a hard 90 on this. This really needed a chamfer. Ooh, there's that $5 word. And by the way, I promise you, much like Arizona tea, I am not raising the price on that word to adjust for inflation. It's staying $5. I will die on that hill. You guys deserve it. Y'all deserve better than you've been getting. Chamfer will stay a $5 word no matter how bad inflation gets. But you know, it's a really hard angle, and in my pocket, it just kind of scrapes along your skin right here while you're reaching into your pocket, and it has taken a little bit of skin off. You can see some dry skin and stuff like that sticking to it. Not terribly comfortable. That's the biggest thing that I didn't like about this, and the same kind of chamfering, I'm using that $5 word, folks. But the same kind of chamfering was needed in the little dinguses right here. These are not chamfered, and they do grab your skin a little bit and kind of hurt your fingy. And when you're hitting the button to push this thing closed or open it, you can feel it grab your thumb sometimes. And it's not the most comfortable experience in the world, and it doesn't happen all the time, but when it does catch you, it's like you got to look to see if you peeled some skin off or not. So those things, like, I would recommend throwing this thing in a tumble or something like that just to get these edges broken down a little bit. But other than that, I have no complaints. I really like this thing, and I enjoyed the hell out of carrying it. And, you know, we're going to do Cardboard Slayer with it. We're going to see how this M390's edge retention holds up. And with it already starting with a bevel that's very close to the bevels that I like, this should be an interesting one. I do kind of dread having to sharpen this because I'm going to wind up reprofiling it from 20 degrees to 17 degrees per side. I was talking to the guys at the Worksharp table about it. And when I mentioned that I was going to have fun sharpening this thing down to 17 per side, they said, yeah, we do 20 degrees. And of course, 20 degrees does provide a more survivable edge, but it's not quite as fine and slicey as I like. So we are going to reprofile this, and I got a feeling I'm going to be there for a while. I've also got a feeling I'm going to be there for a while dicing up cardboard for your entertainment. But yeah, it's just a very, very cool piece. You know, this is going to be one of my favorite pieces in the collection, and it's going in the drawer with some of the more aspirational stuff I had, because it's outside of my normal budget, which makes it a bit aspirational, and they're hard to find right now, but they're still accessible. And that is a very, very cool thing, because I honestly thought when I saw them fly Big Daddy Alex out, they flew out Ben Peterson, they flew out Neves, I thought the price was going to be around $200, and it wound up being $140, which is an outrageous deal for something with the new technology, because the magnesium is new technology. I've never seen any knife made with magnesium like this. It's got an integral. Usually those run the price up. You know, the ability to swap between manual and automatic is also very, very nice. And I would have thought this would have run up around $200, $250, like a lot of new things do. But no, they kept the price down, which is amazing. The magnesium did pick up some coloration from the stuff in my pockets, which may or may not clean off easily. I'm not super worried about it. You know, we're not doing safe queens here. But, you know, it was definitely noticeable. Like, most knives I've had don't pick up color off of the disposable electronic cigarette in my pocket, but this definitely picked up some red staining. So the magnesium will stain on you, and it should clean off easy enough. Like, a lot of it's rubbing off right now. A little bit of acetone, and you're in business. And this is Cerakoted, so it should be pretty dang durable. But, yeah. You know, that's kind of all the information I can think of to provide. It's just a very, very cool piece. It's something that I really, really enjoy. And there's just a couple of small things to fix on it. But, you know, other than that, this is just fantastic. This is fantastic. And like I said, it's one of my favorite pieces I've picked up in a long time. It has a couple of small shortcomings, but the Deca had a couple of small shortcomings. You know, stuff does have shortcomings. And this is stuff that's easily fixable going into the next generation of the RMX. It's not, there hasn't been a new one announced or anything like that, but I am entirely sure there will be an updated RMX coming at some point in the eventual future. So I can't think of a lot else to add that I haven't already talked to you guys about with this right here. So all that being said, thanks for looking at my crap. Subscribers, you guys are awesome. Y'all keep coming in. I appreciate you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We got live streams, regular videos. There's plenty of activities. Comments, I love some feedback. Let's talk about this thing. But all that being said, y'all have a nice day.